now. When something is broken, you fix it tonight. When something is wrong, you make it right. And if things aren't good enough, you make them better. But if broken and wrong, then I cannot make maps forever.
Alright, Warcraft. I have an idea. We made a video series called Getting Gordo 6908 to the Eastern Kingdoms. It was really complicated. It was a really difficult video series because halfway through I started just editing the software. It was like, how do you do it? How do you get Gordo 6908 to Eastern Kingdoms? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So I was working on that. I was trying to do that. It was very difficult. And then it became like a 5-part video series. Here's an idea. Let's make a video. I'm on like fresh computer account here, fresh user. I got no files or anything, any of that stuff. I think we want to add like maybe Kaha up here. No, really? Okay, application launcher. Sorry. I just think that we want to have the Kaha added. Okay, great. We get this. So this is, I can open the folders. This is what I was trying to get. Mretera, documents. I got no documents. It's empty. Okay, this is what I was trying to show you. So fresh computer, low resolution, easy to see in a video. And I was thinking, I actually, somebody else, again, was asking me for getting to Eastern Kingdoms. Same idea, Eastern Kingdoms in Warcraft 3. How do you do it? And so my idea was, why don't I make another video, how to set it up. Sorry, I just bumped the mic. How to set it up with no prerequisites, right? It's a computer with nothing, no documents, empty folders, empty, nothing. Okay, we've got nothing here, we're just empty. And what we want to do on this empty computer is go from nothing to running around Eastern Kingdoms. How do you do that, right? So the way that we do that is the War Smash technology. So the first thing we're going to do is go to GitHub, War Smash mod engine over here, download War Smash technology. Okay, blah, 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 this thing. Now, the thing is, to download this, what I like to do is use Git to clone it. Now, you can do this any way you like, but I sort of like Git. So I'm going to go to the System Tools, to the terminal. I got this ugly terminal right now. I actually really like black background on my terminal. But anyway, as you can see, there's nothing. Empty computer, documents folder, totally empty. So let's make, you know, somewhere you can kind of put it in documents, or you could put it in like applications. And we go to applications and we say, okay, you know what I really want to have? Make der WoW 3 the Frozen Throne. Okay, and this is our folder, WoW 3 the Frozen Throne. We're going to set up our game install. Now, obviously, you only want to do this if you're a legal owner of Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft. I'm not you know, a person affiliated with that. I'm just talking through technology right now. But let's start off with cloning down the War Smash emulator, right? Which is only part of what you need. It doesn't have any art assets or anything. It's just a bunch of fan-made software. So here's the fan-made software, War Smash mod engine. So now I have that cloned, but here's the problem. It's not the version that supports Eastern Kingdoms. So if you bear with me a little bit here in this sort of terminal thing, what you need to do is having cloned that, right? I did a git clone and I paste the URL from that website. And now I have this folder. That's how I got here. It's a folder of, you can see all the same stuff, desktop, Gradle, FDF parser. It's the same folders that show up in the website here. Desktop, FDF parser, Gradle. So what we did, we just brought the folders, I guess this is Gradle/wrapper. But anyway, we brought the folders that are in, you know, online, brought them down locally. That's great. You know, for a self-contained program at this point, you would just type Gradle run or something, and that doesn't work for this project because, among other things, you can't do that because the assets have to be there. You got to get Warcraft 3, and you got to get World of Warcraft, and if you don't have both of those on your computer, then you're not going to be able to run it. So let's go get those, right? So Warcraft 3, I like to get from Hive Workshop. Obviously, you only want to do that if you have a CD key. I think these things need, oh, sorry, my browser's trying to scam me over here. I don't know. You got to get some You got to get some downloads. You got to have a CD key to do this. Okay, great. So you just click on Warcraft. You click on download. Very important that you have a CD key if you're going to follow my tutorial. And you got to think about what game version you want. I think that 27 is pretty good. Game files. We have 21 or 29. What do you guys think we should do? 29 is kind of, I guess a lot of people like 29 actually. We could get 29. Let's see if we can do 29. I think that'll work. I forget if there's some reason 29 doesn't work. Let's find out. Oh, it opened up on my other monitor. Okay, so we're gonna put, you probably know what to do. When you click download on your computer, it might just automatically download to the downloads folder. Mine seems to be configured to ask. It's like, oh, do you really want it in the downloads folder? I'm just gonna say yes. Get some Warcraft 3 in there. Now, the other one that's a little bit harder to get, I don't know exactly where to get this from. Download WoW Alpha 053. I think that's a bit harder to find. Let's see, Alpha WoW Emulator. So obviously that's a bit harder to find. I think that there was something. What didn't we find this on Wayback Machine or something? Their same website, archive.org, had this archived, I think. Can be accessed various sources. Okay. Archive.org. World of Warcraft client. Okay, World of Warcraft client files. Great. So this says 2019. You don't want the 2019 version. You want 0.5.3, not 5.3, which is probably what the AI is trying to get. You want 0.5.3, right? So that's a little bit different. Cool. So, how do we find this? Oh, you got to verify that we're human. This is like one of the hardest parts, it seemed like. Okay, maybe this one. Directory listing. Ah, here you go. WoW 0.5.3. And put that in the downloads. That's what you want, probably. Don't run, if it has executable files in it, don't run them, right? They might be virus. They might not be the original. I don't know that. Don't run them. That's not what we're doing. You know, we're not running them, right? We're using them for art files, okay? And you only want to do this if you own the game, if you paid them. Okay, otherwise, I'm not responsible for what you do. If you don't pay them, that's weird. It's up to you. Okay. Cool. So this is a little bit slow of a download. Obviously, you get, Warcraft 3 is like 1 gigabyte and WoW is 2. Now, obviously, if you're downloading Reforged, it's going to be 30. And if you're going to download Modern WoW, it's going to be 3,000 or whatever. But I don't really care about that. You know, we're just running our little emulator here on some old-timey stuff. Apparently, archive.org downloads a little bit slower than Hive Workshop. If you guys want to, subscribe to Hive Workshop, they're pretty good. It makes some good mods for Warcraft 3 over there. Good stuff. Anyway, yeah. So let's see. This looks like this is going to be a 30-minute download. That's a little bit unfortunate. So I'll probably edit the video. Maybe for you guys, it just jumps straight to the end of the 30 minutes. But in the meantime, maybe let's talk about our plan. I think we know what the plan is. So we get the code, we get the art assets. I mean, in theory, that's all you should need, right? But there are a couple things that run into trouble. And one of the biggest ones that run into trouble is the version of the code. So just while that downloads, let's talk about the version of the code. You might notice here it says main. Now main is different. There's a couple others. We actually want ek-big. Third person referring to kind of like a third person camera. EK is Eastern Kingdom's emulator support. -big is big map support. So ek-big gets us the code to do this. Now this is a pretty simple thing you have to type here in this command line terminal. Well, some people might not like command line terminals. So you want to type git, which is a tool we use to download the repo, checkout, which will tell it to get a particular, to check out a particular branch, and then just copy this name right here, third person -ek-big. Okay, boom. Then it says branch third person ek-big is set up to track remote, switch it to a new branch. This setup to track remote, this just means that in the future, if the official version updates, you can do like a one-line command to pull in the updates to the official version or something like that. Great. So now you have third-person EK Big on your computer, assuming you've been able to follow me thus far. And that's great. That's good. But what happens, you're in this folder and you think to yourself, well, I want to run third-person EK Big. What is it going to do? One of the big problems, if I just say, okay, Gradle W, run game, and I'm just like, all right, let's run it. Just run that thing. It'll do some downloads, it'll do some stuff, but it'll ultimately crash. And the reason why it'll crash is it wants to identify the location of the assets. Now, people have told me I should make a launcher program that makes this easier to configure, and I'm aspiring to do that. We might have that in the future, but at this exact moment, I didn't write that yet. So until we write that, we are going to want to try to customize the configuration a little bit manually. It's okay. It's just what we're going to do. So this is going to download. You can see it tried to start up, it exploded or something. So if we go to folders, we have downloads over here. We have this applications WoW3 folder we created, and you'll notice in core assets logs, there's an error log of what we ran into, right? And so this is our error log. This tells us that we couldn't find some folder where it thought the assets were located because it was trying to use some default Windows file path that doesn't exist. So that's great. How are we doing on our download? Looks like we still have to download for 25 minutes because apparently archive.org is pretty slow about downloading this old WoW version. So yeah, I think I'll just cut the video and we'll start it back up, for you guys or something after the delay, I guess. Unless there's some other thing I can talk about that's kind of interesting in the meantime. So yeah, other things that are interesting in the meantime. Logs folder. I guess what we know, I did this in a previous video, and the most important thing is you're going to want to get a text editor. You can use, whatever text editor you like, but you're going to want to go in here and you're going to want to go to core assets /ini. This is a very important ini file. This defines where we get all our assets. So first, you're going to want to mass replace this Windows looking file path. Yeah, go to replace there, and let's see if can I make this bigger? Oh, this is very sad. I can't make this replace window bigger. So in my particular case, I'm Redera, so I'm going to be in home Redera applications over here. Home Redera applications slash, what do we call it? WoW3, the Frozen Throne slash core slash assets. I guess we could just put them in the assets folder. Is that dumb? That's probably not very dumb. Let's do that. We're going to put them all in there. It's going to be great. Okay, core assets, replace all. I think that makes sense. Oh, let's Control Z. It needed a slash at the end here. So core slash assets slash replace all. So there's kind of three sources of assets. So the default one here is Warcraft 3. There's also this resources folder, which by default is set up for Windows with the backslash. You got to put the / on Linux. It's kind of sad. Cool. So this is set up to load the Warcraft 3 assets, but obviously we need more than the Warcraft 3 assets. We also want the WoW assets. Now, hopefully by the time you watch this video, there will be some graphical application where you can just click add MPQ, add folder or something. Some wizard automatically generates this. But for now, I don't have that wizard written yet. It's only like halfway done. So I'm just going to do this manually. Now, in order to do this manually, to add the World of Warcraft stuff, of course, we want our download to finish, and we're going to want to have that. So let's first put the Warcraft 3 things here, and then we'll see where we're at with our World of Warcraft download. So in the downloads folder, we have Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft that's still downloading. As far as the Warcraft 3 thing, you open that up. It's pretty straightforward. It has the files in here, and they have the MPQs. So why don't we just put those MPQs into our folder here, and maybe you don't even need to bother on archiving Warcraft 3. Don't run the binaries in there. You have to go verify, are they virus or are they good? We don't know. Just get these art asset files, MPQ, 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 and put that in here. Maybe. Do they let me do it? This didn't extract yet. Perhaps this doesn't do what I want it to do. Oh, there it's going. Okay, great. Yeah, so you just, use whatever tool you want to extract them, but I'm just dragging them into this assets folder. And then we have to deal with the naming conventions here. So you can see right now the naming conventions, everything is capitalized. This over here came from Windows where it didn't matter. So we got to fix the lowercase and the capitals. Make sure that you're, that you have War 3 with a capital W on Linux. Otherwise, it won't work. Great. So now that we have that, now that we have the assets located for Warcraft 3, we're still downloading World of Warcraft. This takes a little bit of time. But while we're downloading, we might be able to verify that the program runs just on Warcraft 3. So, of course, the way to do that, great old W, run games, see if it just sort of runs. It could be fun. It didn't. It crashed. And this is, sometimes you got to check this, like, why did it crash, right? So, it says this file is not found. And what this probably means is that we typed our folder incorrectly. We can go and see what is the difference between this and that. Home, Rotera, applications, WoW 3, the Frozen Throne. Yeah, here we go. So, where I went wrong, if we go to our text file that we were editing, which we seem to have closed, warSmash.ini, this thing. So this has an extra level of depth. If you do a master place here, we want to have, Frozen Throne / warSmash mod engine, extra thing in there. Cool. That'll probably fix it so that you can run it. It should be good. It should be runnable. We'll probably get to a menu, but we're not going to have the other fun stuff. Oh, we didn't get to a menu. Okay, so why not? Next error. Maps folder didn't exist, but that's totally reasonable. So this is just saying that by default, we want to have like a maps folder. You could put maps in it or something. Seems like a reasonable thing to do, even if we don't really have any maps right now. So I think that seems good. We go back, run the game. We'll probably launch. Great. So here's the game. Single player. Now, obviously, we're halfway there. I'm running the code, running that. But you'll notice there's no maps shown. Now, why are there no maps shown? Okay. Close this. So the reason there are no maps shown in the game is that this particular game version is configured to show WoW maps, not Warcraft 3 maps. So we got to put some WoW maps in this maps folder. Now, in order to do that, we need our download to finish for World of Warcraft over here. So I do think maybe this is where I'm going to cut off the video. But when we get back, we're going to have this maps folder. We're going to put the maps in there. Great. So once you have that downloaded, now what you're going to want to do is extract it. So in order to extract it, it's a little bit harder. It looks like the World of Warcraft one is an ISO file, right? So let's go back to that. Let's go to downloads. Sorry, that's the wrong downloads folder, actually. I had open over there. We want a different downloads folder. Let's go to this downloads folder. Cool. Download. So this ISO thing, we're going to pop this open. And then we got to figure out, where's the stuff inside of this? So how about this MPQ? You're going to want that. Then you're going to want to open that. Now, in order to open that, you're going to need to get a new, new terminal tab here. Now, how do I make this so you guys can actually see it? Not quite sure. But, yeah, so you start in your home directory, you go to downloads, and do I have SMPQ? I don't. So this is where one of the things I like to do is use SMPQ. You guys know how you do that, right? It's just literally, like, depending on what kind of computer you're using, what kind of distribution you're using, I think you just like, apt install SMPQ, something like that. But I got to do that off screen to get the administrative. Okay, great. Once you do that, then, yeah, we come back in. Great. Okay, I think I fixed this. So here I am in the downloads folder again. So once you do that, you can use SMPQ-X on the installer tome, which should be good. It should extract it, get you what you need over there. From there, you have files. Okay, now files is very good. Files has a data folder. Now, what I think you want to do in data is just copy *MPQ, all of these files. But, that's confusing for you guys maybe. So, to be honest, once I did this unextract, let's do it unextract. Let's do it visually. You go to files, you go to data. Great. Here's all the MPQs. Just copy all of them. I don't even know, what is this INI file actually? Is this like warSmash? Like, what is Nope, it's nothing. Okay, we don't need it. So we don't need the INI file. We just want these MPQs. We're just loading the art. I guess you can read the TOS there if you need to. Okay, so core assets. So just put all these MPQs in this folder here. You can see all of them are there now. And then go back to your INI where we have Warcraft 3 in it. And we're going to want to put those MPQs in it. Okay, so we get all the WoW assets. Now this is, again, hopefully pretty straightforward. But you can see there appear to be 8 of them. So I previously had 8 data sources. Now I'm going to have 16. I wonder, can I zoom out a little bit in this? Maybe not. Maybe I do not have a zoom out. So you can see that each of these has a type and a file path. And all we got to do is put type and path for the World of Warcraft ones. So, you know, I think that should be hopefully pretty straightforward. So, you know, type 4, 5 over here seems pretty straightforward. But the problem really also is going to be that we're adding 8 of them. So 4 is 12 now, 5 is 13, 6 is 14. And this is kind of dumb that we have to do this manually. So hopefully there's going to be a Visual Wizard application that we're going to do this with in the future. But for now, we do it manually. And as you may have seen, you know, we just want to put these in here. So what, bbc.npq, make sure your capitalization is correct. And then just keep pasting them and getting them in there. Sorry. Yeah, DBC MPQ, fonts MPQ. Cool, fonts MPQ. Let's see. Interface MPQ. Let's see. 7 over here would be MISC MPQ. Model MPQ. That's number 8. Sound MPQ, number 9. Speech MPQ, number 10. And looks like texture MPQ is last, number 11. Now, something I did here that might be evident to you guys, I inserted all these files before the resources and maps. So my thought process is we intentionally want the load order to be load Warcraft 3, load World of Warcraft like a mod on top of Warcraft 3, and then load the War Smash stuff so that War Smash can kind of take over if it needs to. I think that makes sense. Now, if you do that, and we go back in here, and we run it again, same way I ran it before, great old run game, you'll notice we're going to have some problems. So the problem I expect, it'll run, it'll open the game, but inside the game, there's still going to be no maps showing. So there's still no maps showing inside the game, and you might be thinking, why not? Why don't we have maps inside the game? The reason for that is that the maps are in world maps here over here in World of Warcraft. So you can see there's several different maps. You can try going to any of them, but obviously you're going to have an easier time if you go to a map that you know is sort of expected to work here. I've actually only really tested Azeroth. I don't really know what's in all the rest of these. You could try them. You could try to look at what they are maybe, but I only tested Azeroth. Now the problem is Azeroth is inside of an MPQ. So if you want to get that map, we need to extract that MPQ. And that means that we go back to this downloads thing where, you know, maybe if you got something set up, if you have open terminal here or something, or if you have, copy this file path, maybe you could just go in this terminal, CD, change directory, and you paste that in there. I don't know. This doesn't seem to want to work because it copied file at the start. But you go to that folder where Azeroth is. Sorry, I typed KS instead of LS. And all you got to do is SMPQ extract Azeroth WDT MPQ. That map file's in there. Extract it out of there. And then you'll notice there's 2 files. One of them is really big. It's like a gigabyte. The other one is tiny. Okay? So what we want to do is take the really big one, this 752 megabyte one, and rename that to Azeroth.wdt. It's the map file. And then Control-C on it, copy it, and go back to your War Smash folder here, We got like assets, maps. Just put that in there. Azeroth. Bing. Now we got Azeroth as a map. Now, because we did that, if we launch the game again, we should see Azeroth show up as a map that we can play. Also, I don't know about you guys, but okay. Azeroth, WDT. Look at that. That's great. So click on that. It says like 48 players or something silly. For the most part, you know, it's there, and you click on Start Game, and you would think that it would start. However, it probably won't. That'll probably crash. And that's a little bit unfortunate. You might think to yourself, why does that crash when you try to run it? Now, I'm pretty sure the reason it'll crash is based on the amount of RAM. So you're gonna have to make sure you have a lot of RAM on your computer in order for this to work. We'll see if it works on mine. I don't really expect it will, but let's take a look. It's definitely trying, though. It's just chugging along. Chugging along. It's getting there. Just didn't get there yet. Loading times can be a bit slow on this, but I do think it will eventually crash. So it's sort of like when that happens, I don't know if I'm going to alt tab out of this to get the mouse back. One of the things you might want to do in this INI file is if you go down to the bottom, you'll notice there is catch cursor equals 1. If you set this to 0, then when you're dealing with this long load time, the cursor will be able to more easily exit. So I'm going to set catch cursor to 0 so that if this crashes and I launch it again, I can go and navigate the computer while it's loading. As you can see, it's like taking really an unrealistic amount of time. And this is because I'm pretty sure of memory constraints. They're probably making it not work. So it's probably going to run for a while and then crash. It's kind of inconvenient. If you're curious to see that, you know, you can always type, what is it? Free-M should show your used memory on your computer. As you can see, I seem to be using 15 gigabytes or something. It's probably a lot. You know, if you do PSOX and you grep for desktop launcher, probably you'll be able to see that. Now that's obviously, yeah, that's using like 15 gigabytes of my RAM. It's eating all the RAM up that it can get, which is probably not enough. So in my testing, it seems to me that this thing needs like 20 or 25 gigabytes of RAM to run because it's not optimized. So you're going to want to have that. I don't seem to have that. I think right now it's probably not set up correctly. And so that's where we got to go and we got to change the amount of RAM that we're actually giving to the program. We got to do that, which hopefully is straightforward. Hopefully that's pretty easy to do that. But in order to do that, you know, we're going to want to go and navigate that. Hey, it did finally crash though. Okay, so you can see it crashed. So one of the things to do is to go to this logs folder and find out why it crashed, right? Now in my case, the reason why it crashed would look to be this thing. I wonder, is this like easy to zoom out maybe? But usually at the top of these, channel does not contain an MPQ archive. Huh. So it seems like it broke. Channel does not contain an MPQ archive. Maybe I don't care though. That might not be the problem. It seems like some other thing is the problem. I wonder if, yeah, so it created HS error PID where it seems like, I think this is because of running out of RAM or something. All right, it just, we exploded the binary. So let's try to get around that by giving it more RAM. Now to give it more RAM, I think what we want to do is go and navigate to one of these folders, the binaries, desktop build probably. You'll notice command args. You can do pargs and it sets that, but I think the other thing we want to set is it's not just args. We need system properties, system parameters to the JVM, right? Because we got to increase the RAM. Maybe application default JVM args, but probably not. Maybe JVM args. I wonder if I can just do JVM args equals XMX, what is it? 25G, something like that. I put that in here in the build file of desktop launcher, run it again. Maybe that'll do it. Nope. Nope. Unknown property, JVM args. Okay, it's not called JVM args. I wonder if it's like JVM args lowercase. This is, I guess we'll have to look this up. Okay, or Gradle API Java exec. So we got to look that thing up on the internet. Do a search, Java exec. Here we go, Gradle DSL. This thing, does this have JVM args? All JVM args, set of arguments to launch. Apparently it's called all JVM args. Who thought of that? Oh, this one has JVM arg. Okay. Okay. When was this added? Does not include system arguments. The minimum maximum heap size. Okay, so heap size. Max heap size is like a thing that this thing thinks that we can just set. Maybe we'll just do that then. Max heap size equals 25G. How about that? If that works, that would be great. Cool. Okay. Yeah, just do that. All right, max heap size. That was what we needed. So now that we did that, we might be able to run it. We'll probably get a different error. Hopefully we get an application side error. So the other thing that we need, so we need to define what WoW player we're using. I don't know if you thought about that, but we don't have character selection screen, right? And we need something like that. So that's a little bit difficult because the equivalent of character select needs to be, it's a little more difficult. And basically, the solution to the character select problem is to get a Warcraft 3 unit data file that defines our character. And we don't have that right now. So I think what I'm going to do while I let the game load, if you go to maps on the Hive Workshop and you go to templates, oh, it did crash. Now see, this crashed much more quickly. Now if we go to asset logs over here and we look in the logs folder in assets, look at why did we crash. Let's see if I'm right. Unknown unit ID player. Okay, so this is the thing. So PLYR player is the player, it's the unit type of the WoW character that you've selected. So in order to work around that, let's go to Shelley's Forest here on Hive Workshop. I uploaded this map. Some people might have seen this in one of my other videos. If you download this Warcraft map, we should be able to extract out of it the definition of the WoW player unit. And maybe that'll do that. So we go back to downloads. Now again, you could literally just CD to downloads actually. Here you go, downloads folder. So what we want to do is we got to unzip this thing. Okay, so let me exit out of maps here. Let me go to downloads. Okay, so Shelley's Forest. Apparently Hive Workshop put this in a zip. Let's take it out of the zip, get the map file. Okay, now that map file won't work on our game because our game plays World of Warcraft maps. Where'd it go? I seem to have extracted the README instead of the map. There we go. Now we have the map. So now in the downloads folder, we have the map. Now if we use that same SMPQ-X to extract Warcrafty things, extract Faralos test, this will blow up in the downloads folder and you should have a bunch of files. One of those files is War3 map U, W3U. Okay, now this is where did this go? War3 map, W3R, W3I, WCE, WTG. Do we have a W3U? All right, wait a minute. Star W3U. There is no W3U. Well, that's very sad. So apparently this map doesn't actually have our hero character in it like I thought it would, which seems silly. That's very silly. This means we have to define our hero character ourselves. I thought we could just go get one. It was already defined, which is very unfortunate. You know, I think in my other video I showed the process of doing that, but we should probably make the file for this and upload it somewhere people could get it, because it's a very boring thing to have to do. So the easiest way to do this, if you're on Windows and I'm not, is to go and get Warcraft 3 map editor, which I don't have, and make your hero unit in Warcraft 3 map editor. And that would be one way to do it. I don't have Warcraft 3 map editor, so in lieu of that, what I'm tempted to do is to go and get some other system that can do the same kind of idea. And that's kind of challenging because you need a unit editor. You need something that edits Warcraft units, right? So what program would that be? That's up to you where you get that. But in my case, I don't know, it's just pretty annoying. So, you know what? I have an idea. Instead of going and getting a unit editor, why don't we just change it so the hero that we spawn is just like a Warcraft unit? You know, let's do that. That's way easier. So we have the text file editor. Let's go in our applications, in our code. We know that over here, deep in the files, war smash, viewer, handler, W3X, UI. Inside the UI, third person folder, there's a third person UI. It's defining what we're doing. And inside of the third person UI, now you would think, why does the UI spawn the hero? And that's a good question. It's very, very silly, but it does. So, oh, actually I'm wrong. It's not in the UI anymore. I moved it because that doesn't make sense. Okay, great. So I think it's not in the UI. So that would mean it's probably above that, inside of just maybe the War Smash folder. Cool. So if we go to War Smash map screen, I guess, and the map screen as it loads, somewhere here you're going to find PLYR. Maybe. Does that have third person UI? It does. Okay. Now, what kind of character does this create? Ah, render unit player pawn ID. Well, that's very silly that that's on render unit, but now we know where it is. So if we go to viewer, handler, W3X again, render simulation, render units, here you go. Open again, text editor, PLYR, this thing. Okay, let's change this to like, anybody know the Sylvanas Windrunner unit ID? What is it? It's probably, let's see, it's probably human Vanessa Windrunner. Like the one that's built into Warcraft 3, right? If it's not that, it's probably N. Because before she was going to be Sylvanas, they didn't invent Sylvanas yet. So it's just going to be Vanessa when they were making Warcraft 3, I think. Okay, let's try that. That might work. I'll get our hero in there. It's probably not that, though. It's probably N. Probably N, VWR. It's very silly. All right, let's change it to N. All right, you guys got me. Let's change it to N. I don't know. It's going to be... I'm just preemptively assuming. Great. And then we'll run around as Sylvanas, I guess. Why not? Then we don't have to download stuff. Okay, great. Custom game. Map. Play map. Let's see if it works. I don't know. It might work. Who knows? How fun would it be if it works? That would be pretty fun. Maybe not as fun as if we play with a World of Warcraft hero, but we'll play with a Warcraft 3 unit. Why not? You know, the whole point is just loading a map. We're just trying to get to Eastern Kingdoms. And you guys can figure out Warcraft 3 map editor very easily. There's going to be people who know how to do that on the internet. It's like a pretty common thing people know. Loading screen. Ah, it crashed anyway. Okay. So let's find out why it crashed. Logs, error log. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Okay. Unknown unit ID. Maybe it is an H. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? It's actually a human unit. It's gonna. What is it gonna be? Just like human ranger or something? Probably. All right. So the other way to do this is just look it up. Then you got to think about where would you look it up. There used to be a website somewhere where it was pretty easy to look up unit IDs, and then that website went down. Where do you look up a Warcraft 3 unit ID? Are we just going to change it to HPAL and spawn a paladin because everybody knows that HPAL is a paladin? I might do that next. That might be what I do. It's possible. It's possible we're going to do HPAL. Run around as a test paladin, because when in doubt, use a test paladin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you do. Let's see what happens. I'm giving it one more go and trying to spawn Sylvanas without actually looking up the ID. But obviously, you would want to have good unit. Oh, they got me. I was wrong. Okay, so what? I'm just double checking that the error again says unknown unit ID. Yep, unknown unit ID. Okay, I don't know what Sylvanas's unit ID actually is. It's probably like NCVW for like neutral creep or some weird old paradigm that nobody knows. Okay, so yeah, how about what do we think? HPAL, HArt, maybe Arthas is HArt, or Jaina. We could probably do Jaina. I bet HJAI is Jaina. If we run around as Jaina, let's try Jaina. Sounds fun. All right, sure, we'll do Jaina. That's good. HJAI. Of course, this means that when Jaina jumps, because she's gonna have World of Warcraft controls, so she's gonna be able to jump. She's not gonna have the jump animation, so it might look stupid. But what do we care if it looks stupid? It's gonna work, probably. Actually, that's a good point. So the other place where this fails is animations use run instead of walk, but Warcraft 3 uses walk instead of run. So it's very likely that our character will be skating, skating along the ground, unfortunately. Which is just kind of sad, but we'll see. We'll see. Will they be skating? Will it even open at all? That would be cool if it opens, because then we would show that we were successful in what we were doing. Maybe. No, it didn't open. Okay. So then we have to figure out, what is that? Is there... I'm sure HJI exists. Yeah, okay. Player... Okay, okay. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Alright, so the configuration here is a bit specific in a way that's kind of sad. It is. I think it's kind of sad. It shouldn't require this, but it does. And what this means is that it's really hard to launch this thing. It needs the player pawn ability. It's like a standard ability that doesn't exist, but it needs it to exist. And it's just unfortunate that we need that, because we're just trying to make it go, you know? The other thing I started thinking is, our Jaina hero, why don't we get like a cool model for Jaina? Because if we're going to have to waste time on this, we might as well get a cool one. So maybe like a reforged one, like let's get like a reforged Jaina. I don't know, something that looks cool, Female captain hero. This looks cool. Dude, should we run around as this in World of Warcraft? That sounds fun. Okay, let's do that. Oh, it's Joan. Maybe it's supposed to be Joan of Arc. I don't know. Let's preview it. Does this work in preview? There you go. Okay, so female captain character. This looks great, right? Okay, let's run around as this character. They have like cinematic walks, so maybe it would work. Yeah, all right, great. Female captain. Let's download this. This sounds great. Well, actually, I thought it was a good idea, but here's the problem. Female captain might need World of Warcraft. It might be... What's the file version on this? Okay. Might need reforged. Sorry, might need reforged textures. We don't want to get that. We don't want those. Can't we just download those from somewhere or something? We just get the reforged. Okay, bad idea. No reforged. I'm changing my mind. Don't reforged. Instead of that, let's just get Jaina to work. You could do it. You could do it. You can do it, but I'm not gonna do it right now. Okay, so we gotta get Jaina to work, and in order to do that, we want to have one thing at a time. We want to have this player pawn ability. So I'm kind of thinking, like, can I just hack this stuff to just automatically give the player pawn ability to the unit that we spawn? Remember, render unit was created by map screen or something. It was created by third person UI. Let me see if we can find. Nope. Oh, we don't have third person UI open anymore. Okay, let's go back in the code. Let's see. Yeah, render sim handlers UI. So third person UI is being really dumb. And what it's doing is it's creating this unit. I think it's creating this unit, create unit simple. And then let's see if all player, right now we're just doing one player. So pawn units. Okay, somewhat silly thing going on here. It spawns Arthas and a bunch of catapults. We don't want that. But I think what we want to do is after this, okay, this dot pawn unit. So basically, this dot pawn unit dot, what is it? For C unit in pawn units. Okay. Unit dot add ability. Is that not? It's probably not that simple. Add ability. New. See, it's looking for this ability right here. We need to create that ability. That's all. But to create an ability, I think we need to give it some dumb stuff. We probably need to give it a handle ID, which, to be honest, I can probably just put 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a raw code, which, to be honest, I can probably just put 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see if that works. Very, very dumb, but it might work. Essentially, so that these units have this special ability that allows them to work. That's not how it was done previously, but oh, okay, it didn't compile the code. Int cannot be converted to, okay, so this is war3 ID from string. Okay, it needs to be one of these. Just put a pawn. It's a pawn. It's a player pawn object. A pawn. There you go. Maybe now it'll work. Nope, it didn't work. Okay. Cannot find add ability. Okay, so we don't have add ability. This is not a good API. All right, what do we have? So if we go, I think it might be in simulation, maybe. Add ability. One of these. Let's see what we do with abilities in here. Get ability. On ability added to unit is in here. Okay, so you know what it probably is? It probably is that unit add ability probably takes the simulation, and I probably forgot to give it that. So this might be as simple as add ability taking, before we put the ability, like map viewer simulation or something. Is this referenced elsewhere in this file? No. What about simulation? Yes. Okay, this seems like this should be fine. All right, let's try running it. Very unfortunate that we had to do that. You could do that in Warcraft 3 map editor, but I don't have it on this computer, and I'm trying to skip it and just run. Okay, no, we don't have. What is the API for adding an ability to a unit? This is very sad that I don't remember this. Okay, simulation, C unit, add ability. Come on, it definitely exists. This totally exists. Oh, it's probably .add. That's really dumb. Is it .add? Come on, find me .add. Space add. Yes, it's literally called .add. That's so dumb. Okay. So over here where I'm calling unit.add ability, it's just unit.add and you put the ability in it. See, that's great. Okay, what a good API. Wow. Okay, anyway, there you go. So that's unfortunate how long that took, but now we fixed it. Now Jaina's going to be a player pawn. Honestly, while we're in that same code, before we go too far, I think we want Jaina to run if we're going to use a Warcraft. So if you're going to use a Warcraft unit instead of World of Warcraft, you got to change the animation name from run to walk. It's very sad that you have to do this, but it shouldn't be that hard. You go into simulation, you go into abilities, actually not abilities, behaviors. You go into behaviors and you find the player pawn behavior. It's in the third person folder, so it's easy to find. And you go to where it says run, you just search for run, match case, capitalized RUN. Sorry, this auto suggested some stupid thing. Capitalized RUN, okay? Don't put that. Instead, put walk. Okay, and that makes it Warcraft 3. To be honest, walk and walk backwards have the same. Run and walk backwards are World of Warcraft animation names. And now I'm just doing walk in both ways. Obviously, if you're using a World of Warcraft model, you don't want to do that. You're going to want it to be run. But that's just a kind of dumb problem that we have between the two games. Okay, great. So now I can run around as a Warcraft 3 unit, probably. Obviously, for those of you who want a World of Warcraft unit, you're going to need to go to the Warcraft map and find a World of Warcraft hero as a Warcraft 3 unit, so you can put them in the scene. Okay, great. Now I'm launching the game. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Nothing. Nothing will go wrong, right? It'll probably just work perfectly. I'll be running around Eastern Kingdoms as Jaina from Warcraft 3. Because that makes sense. Maybe. Let's see. This would have gone a lot faster. But on my computer that I'm running now, I don't. Because it's Linux, I don't have one. I don't have emulation. And I don't have the Hive World Editor compiled for Linux. Hey, look, it's Jaina. Oh, this is great. This is great. Okay. I'm going to windowed mode this because I actually don't really know if the video is capturing the thing. So we're just going to see. Look at that. Okay, so I'm Jaina, and I have WASD, and I can run all around. That's great. Look at that. Look at me go. Woo! I'm Jaina. Now I can run around. See, this is like what people want. They want to run around on their World of Warcraft map as their Warcraft 3 unit, maybe. Now, some people might be wondering, what's going on with the shadow? It's so bad, and then other times it's so good. And it's not very clear what makes it bad and good. It's a great question. It's some kind of bug. I didn't look at what is the cause of the bug yet, so I'm not going to tell you because I don't know. But hey, why don't we try to go to like Tears Fall or something? I don't know. Here we are as Jaina. We're running around in World of Warcraft land. Let's see if we can get to Tears Fall, you know? It seems like fun. The other thing is, we really need like mounts, you know, and like interactivity. So that needs to get programmed next. But mostly, somebody was asking me how to get this thing going. So I thought let's get like Gordo 6908 to Eastern Kingdoms concept, but like actually doing it. You know, like now I'm like actually Eastern Kingdoms, right? And this is like a self-contained video. I don't know how long this is. It's probably pretty long, but self-contained video of going to Eastern Kingdoms without any really additional complex effort here. We just run the code. My previous video made a joke that the code got torched by an airplane scanner, but it turned out I changed my flight when I was about to get on it. I didn't get on it, and I pushed the code up before I got on the airplane scanner, so it all was okay in the end. It was all okay in the end. Let's go to Tears Fall. This is not Tears Fall though, right? What is this? This is what's the one over here? I need a map. I need like a map function for my hero. We need to get that. You know, that would be a really nice thing to have. Get a map. All right, let's see. Well, I'm running over here. This is Silver Pine Forest, isn't it? That's the name of this place. I'm pretty sure this is Silver Pine Forest. So that's why the trees are lighter color. But as you can see, we have some level of view distance. We don't have like the biggest view distance ever, you know. So that's kind of up to you. But I do allow infinitely zooming out, even though the far clip is much too close. So you could try to get a better far clip if you wanted. I didn't do that, but you could, you know, you could do that. You could get a better far clip. And then I guess on top of getting better far clip, you're probably going to want to have, what else? You're gonna want to fix those shadows. I didn't fix the code on that, but yeah, better far clip, probably easy to change. Just go on the camera or something. Other than that, yeah, you probably want really good hardware because this is programmed badly. But as you can see right now, it's actually not lagging too much. It's actually running, I think, pretty well on this computer here that I'm using right now. I'm unsure. There might still be memory leaks that if you run across the entire world, you get like procedurally leaking memory. I haven't ruled it out yet. I think it's a possibility. Somebody ought to check that, try to fix that maybe. But you'd have to do some investigation because it definitely does burn memory, and part of that's intentional, you know. But let's see. I'm over here. I'm Jaina. I'm running. So I mean, I think we did it, right? I'm in Eastern Kingdoms, and I guess all things considered, I might or might not make it to Tears Fall, but yeah, this is pretty much what we want to do here. Yeah, just use Warcraft 3 map editor to set your hero. It always goes by, you know, whatever that ID is. You can see I set it to Jaina, but you have like a unit ID for your hero. If you want to have like abilities on your character, obviously we need a better user interface for that. It's probably not really that hard to make, though. You would think that folks would know how to do that on Warcraft 3. So like if I fly my camera over to the hero, Jaina is an archmage. Oh, it's a dollar on a bubble. Jaina is an archmage, and the archmage abilities should be working, but I turned them off because I was trying to make rewrite them in JAS to make them modular, which I didn't finish doing. So we're gonna have a problem that if you actually navigate to Jaina and then try to use her archmage abilities, they probably won't work. This is probably
I can help.
my fault here. You know, like, yeah, it says ability not yet programmed because I busted it. But you could definitely unbust it, right? If you were, like, if you wanted to run around as Jaina and you were thinking to yourself, hey, you know, I really want to mass teleport over this gulch, you could do that. But in order to do that, what you need to do, well, first you need to reach level 6, I guess. But, oh, hey, look at that. Brilliance Aura works. Yeah, there we go. Now I have Brilliance Aura. Great. Okay, let's see. I got Brilliance Aura. That's all we really needed. That's all you really need in your life is Brilliance Aura. Okay, let's see. We'll go up here. Get back on the road. Yeah, anyway, I was going to see if I could get to Tears Fall, but we definitely need to have, like, I don't know, Flight Path, Flight Master. Somebody should put Flight Master on here. Just get this map open in Warcraft 3 map editor. Get some Flight Master going on. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, somebody should do that. That would be great. I think that would be fun. What else? What else do we need besides Flight Master? Probably a lot of stuff. So yeah, you can see definitely, like, you know, combat exists, but you need other units to fight because right now we got Warcraft 3 combat.
I'll take care of it.
You know. Oh yeah. Also, don't do
Sounds
this.
good.
You can see if you right-click a WoW hero, they'll like teleport around and stuff. It's very strange. Don't do that. It's better to do one or the other. So like this unit is doing WoW unit. If you have a Warcraft 3 unit, they can do Warcraft 3 unit, but don't make a unit that's both WoW and Warcraft 3. It doesn't work very well. This unit has that set by default because it's Jaina. But if you just go in and take away her Warcraft 3 movement speed, I think that problem would go away pretty fast. We also really need WMO buildings. Somebody should get on that so we can get some WMO buildings over here, you know? Like, you have these little things, and it's just like, where's the building? You know, obviously there's supposed to be a building here, but there's not. I don't think it would be very hard to fix. Obviously, you know, other people have done porting technologies, and their technologies had buildings that I think they were capped by the map size because they were using Warcraft 3 game engine. We don't have that problem. We're not capped by the map size. We're our own software simulation here. We do whatever we want. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think we did it. We're in Eastern Kingdoms. I will momentarily be in Tirisfal, probably. And I'm running around as Jaina, you know? How about that? It's pretty good. Sometimes the shadow works on the ground. I'm sure you could fix it. A little bit of software changing. Ask some ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, why don't the shadows work right? It'll probably give you something, fixes it pretty fast. What do we got over here, you know? Oh, this would be the ruins of Lordaeron, but I imagine part of it probably failed to load. So, there you go. I did it. I got to Lordaeron. We did it, Jaina. We're in Lordaeron. Yeah. Oh, now my unit's even selected for a moment, maybe. Yeah, we really ought to fix those shadows, but, there you go. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much, you know, that's how you get to Eastern Kingdoms. You can see this is on a new computer setup. Didn't have really anything pre-installed other than Java, but you guys can just like Google search how to install Java. Yeah, so I think that works. That's how you get Jaina to Eastern Kingdoms, and we did it. Here we are in the Eastern Kingdoms. Now, I have been thinking, how do you get to Kalimdor? And you would think that you would do the same process with Kalimdor, but thus far that has not worked for me. I have not gotten to Kalimdor. I think that it might be that I was loading the map and that the map was in the wrong place so that I couldn't find it. Something like that, you know, and that sounds like it doesn't make sense. You're right. It doesn't make sense. I completely agree with you. Is Scarlet Monastery over here? Probably not. I think that it probably didn't load because it would be considered a WMO file, so it probably didn't load. But you can wander over and try to find out. So yeah, there you go. It's fun stuff. This is pretty good. You know, good use of Warcraft 3 over here. Very, very good use of time, as you can tell. There's a building over here. Huh, what building is that? So this building must not be a WMO file. This must have been made pre-WMO. Ah, yes. It is not open to the inside. I just run into the wall. Okay. Well, there you go. Oh, kind of jittering a little bit. Graveyard. So yeah, there you go. Eastern Kingdoms. I don't know why is Jaina vibrating a little bit like that, but you could probably fix that by setting your hero not to have pitch and roll or something. I might do it. Let's see, can I get up on this thing? Oh, not without jumping. Okay. Oh, look, there's like a little grave over here. I wonder if this is like where undead players start. Starting a little grave around. Up in Tirisfal. There's a lot of jittering over here, actually. It'd be really nice if I figured out what was causing that. Try to make it stop. So yeah, I don't know. You know, it's a bit of a walking simulator, but you could imagine you spawn some Warcraft 3 units, you might be able to do some fun stuff on it. Get some combat. You know, I got Brilliance Aura. We're going to want to fix the selection circles, but that's totally reasonable. Oh, hey, I got to the water. How about that? Over here at the Great Sea, some animal was here long ago. How about that? Eastern Kingdoms. What am I running into? Wait a minute. What? I fell in some kind of geometric hole. It's very odd. Should probably try to fix that. If anybody wants to make a pull request on the code that makes you not fall in geometric holes while you're running around, that would be great. That would be great. No one, I think everyone would be happy to merge that pull request. I bet no one would complain. Very good idea for a pull request. Like, what is this? What did I run into? Nothing. I ran into nothing. You just stopped running. You know. Now, obviously, sometimes it's the hill, and that makes sense. But sometimes it's not the hill, and it doesn't make sense. What do we got over there? We got some kind of animal or something. Yeah, I don't think Scarlet Monastery is going to load in, which is unfortunate. That would be kind of fun. So you'd imagine we should probably fix that. We should get Scarlet Monastery loaded in here. We're going to have to, somebody's going to have to do that. But for now, you know, you can still run around, get to Eastern Kingdoms. It seems fun. And you can play as Jaina, you know, why not? Play as your Warcraft 3 character. Why not? Just don't fall in a hole. Does this, where does this go? Oh, I ran into the tree. Alright, Jaina, don't run into the tree. Go around it. Good. I guess if you zoom in, oh yeah, okay, so in a perfect world, if you zoomed in, you probably would see, you know, like first person view, but instead right now it just goes negative, which is a little bit weird. Somebody could probably fix that. I don't think that would be that hard to fix that. Oh, look at that. Scarlet Crusade, there you go. Scarlet Crusade flag. They're telling me not to go this way, which is of course why I'm going this way. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, this is probably some kind of building that would have been here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I definitely think the monastery is not loading. You can see there's missing geometry over here. Would have been there, but it is not. How about that? Yeah, we should fix that. We should definitely fix that. And you know it can be fixed, right? Because all you got to do is just fix WMO files and make them load. Which should be loadable. It should be doable. It just isn't currently happening. Need some code edits. Where does this go? I should probably know where this goes, but I forget. Look at that. I'm kind of just like exploring around, you know? Explore the oldest version of this or whatever. There's some camps down there. How about that? All right. Yep. Well, there you go. Oh, that's almost a Scarlet Crusade. Almost. Okay. You know. Yeah. There you go. Let me just zoom off over here. Just keep going. Keep going. You know. Pretty big map. Pretty big map. Oh, I hit the end. It broke. Okay. Yeah. Maybe don't zoom out that far. All right. Well. Hope you guys have a good one. Yeah. We did it. We got to the Eastern Kingdoms. One video.